Welcome to UNCAGED, a show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. Today, we've got Frederic Joye on the show. Hey, Frederic, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks, Ben. How are you?
I'm really well, Frederic. I'm a little jealous. I think you're in a much more beautiful part of the world than I am right now. But Frederic is the co-founder and the chief growth officer for Arcanys. Arcanys is a software development outsourcing company. They're based in Philippines and have connections with Switzerland. And we're going to go through their business model because it's a really unique and quite, I'd say, entrepreneurially supportive business model. But before we get to talk about Arcanys, Frederic, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career today.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Swiss, and I've been working my whole life more or less close to outsourcing projects. So first for an insurance company in Switzerland, where I was looking after the rewriting of the entire base software of the company with India. Then I moved to a private bank also in Switzerland, where I was looking after some outsourcing operations as well. Before moving to one of the first fintechs in Switzerland, actually in 2008. And then in 2009, I moved to Hong Kong and partnered with Alan de Bonneville, who's today my business partner and my co-founder at Arcanys. We've moved to the Philippines in 2010 to actually start Arcanys, and we are based in Cebu in the Philippines.
That's wonderful. Well, the Philippines is a great place to be, and all of those places are exciting. And so tell us a little bit more, Frederic, about what you guys have built with Arcanys. I'm really excited about some of the things that you guys are working on.
Yeah, so we are as you said, software development outsourcing company. What we do is we help entrepreneurs and mostly SMEs, but also some Fortune 500 companies extend their development capabilities with developers from the Philippines at the moment. And we do so by helping them find good talents at a really quicker pace, and also, of course, with some cost savings. We also help young companies try to structure their development processes as well. So we're not just a staffing company, if you want. We are a full blown software development company we have senior architects from Europe that are working with us. And we try to help these companies become a lot more efficient in how fast they build their software and how well they do it.
That's great. And I know that one of the things that Arcanys has going on is your Arcanys Labs group. And it sounds to me that that's starting to blossom. So tell me more about how Arcanys Labs works.
Yeah, so we've actually recently renamed Arcanys Labs to Arcanys Ventures because we think it portrays better what we're trying to do. And we are investing in startups or in scale-ups with software development for equity. So basically, we help accelerate the development of these companies when they are raising funds. So we never just come alone, but when they are raising funds and they are open to such a model, then we come in and really, at least double their development power for a certain period of time. And we come in with tickets that range from $100,000 to $500,000 US, and can be done in various tranches or different ways where they would go all for equity, or they would have a mix of payments and equity. We've started this with our existing clients. Actually, when we started working with them, we saw that the collaboration was going well, and they thought the same about us. And when they were raising funds, they usually would let us know that they're trying to raise funds. And at some point we said, look, for some of the companies that we were really interested in, that we like collaborating with, where we believed in the team and the product behind, we said, okay, well, would be interested in investing. Would you want to have us on board? And most of them said yes. And that's basically how we started this investment. And we've had some really nice news actually this week, where two of our investments are in, I would say, really nice phases. One is doing an actual exit, so it's signed, it's been announced. This company has been purchased by ASICS, the Japanese shoe company. So that was a really nice exit for us and for the company. And the second one, I can't give names, but it is also really going well to a merger. So it's two really mature startups going to merge and then raise a serious round of financing to keep on growing.
That's spectacular news. Congratulations. And I love ASICs. So I purchased a pair recently because I'm trying to prepare for the Miami Marathon right now. So
wow.
Okay. I live in my ASICs these days. So
awesome. Okay, that's great.
So that's a great company to have sold that business to. And so, one of my questions, Frederic, would be the types of projects. I mean, startups are working on some really interesting technologies these days with machine learning and really all of the different variations on blockchain. And I'd just be curious, are you guys working across all of those different elements?
So not really. And I think the reason is, first, in the Philippines, it's in terms of the super new skills, if you want, such as AI, ML, and stuff like that. The skills come always a bit later than in the US and Europe and stuff like that. And the second part is, I think because these technologies are really at the core of what the companies are doing themselves, I don't think it's a part that they're willing really to outsource at the beginning, because that's the part they really have to probably do a lot of research on. And there's a lot of stuff that needs to be really close to the business. So we had some inquiries about these blockchain stuff and AI ML, but it's usually coming from companies who I think would like to use these words more like buzzwords, whereas the serious companies do this internally. And for AI and ML, there's also a need of really huge amounts of data. So when you are a very young company with few users and stuff like that, then there's no real need for that. You need maybe advanced algorithms and stuff like that, but you don't need that, except if your business model is really based on that. And that's not the market we're tapping into at the moment. We actually have tried to build that capability. We hired an AI ML guy from the Netherlands, and we're ready to scale that team with training people and stuff like that. But the demand wasn't actually there.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And I think that what you just outlined is almost best practices, really, of how you should consider kind of outsourcing, which is maybe the core seed idea of the most complex elements of the technology should be managed and developed by a core in-house group, and then you kind of work with a broader team to bring it to life and to expand. And the data piece, I think, is also an excellent point. There's just no data, for those types of businesses. You don't have the data yet. So
yes, that's right.
But you're going to get it soon. That's excellent. Well, Frederic, tell me a little bit more. I mean, we've been living through this unusual moment, the last 18 months. And I haven't really delved too deeply into how the pandemic has impacted the world of nearshoring, outsourcing, things like that. I'd just be curious to see the challenges and the opportunities that maybe it's presented.
Yeah. So it's been very interesting. So there are multiple challenges and opportunities, actually. And the first one was when everything started to lock down. The first worry that we had was like, how many customers are going to die because they lose their revenue from one day to the other. And actually, one of the company that has been purchased by ASICS, which is a sports events registration platform in Australia, so it's the leader in Australia and New Zealand, actually lost their revenue. For 4 months, they were making zero, and then they had to issue millions of dollars in refunds. and they had this, I mean, they still have a pretty sizable team with us. We had another client that was kind of like a WeWork thing. And so they also lost their entire revenue and they had to shut down, I mean, their development operation. So for us, it was a bit of a scary time because this all happened in the first 3-4 weeks of the pandemic. And, you know, building the company for these last 12 years, I was like, oh my God. And, you know, all my eggs are in
Yeah, I
this
can only
basket.
imagine. I can only imagine.
So I
Yeah.
was slightly worried. But luckily for us, we were toying the idea of allowing a few employees to work remote, but we weren't able to action this because we were afraid of the equity for it. It would have been, to be fair, for everybody, because I think everybody would want to work from home, and we didn't find the way to do that. But then March 13 or 14 arrived, and then so everybody had to be sent home. And it went actually really super smoothly. In 2 days, we had completely made the company fully remote, and it has remained so ever since. And we have decided to become a fully remote company with not requiring any of the employees to come back to the office unless their internet connection is not working well, because they need to keep on working with our clients. So that was really great. And the reason it's great is because clients have noticed an improvement in quality and I would say productivity also. And the reason is because there's a lot less commute. People are happier because they can spend more time with their families, or like me, they can travel the world and then still be working effectively, right? And so I think the quality of life has improved quite a lot. That's also, I mean, I think that's an important step. And it's the same with our clients. Most of them are now remote, and which means that for a lot of companies, and that's where it becomes really interesting for us, is a lot of companies now are like, oh, so why would I pay someone $150,000 a year when I can't see that person physically, where I could get someone maybe for, you know, a third or half of the price elsewhere. And that's one thing. And the second thing that has really, I think, helped us in terms of sales is the fact that New Zealand and Australia have completely shut their borders. And a lot of the skilled labor was allowed to come in as immigration, and this has not happened. So the prices of software developers in Australia and New Zealand has completely skyrocketed. And a lot of companies are, I mean, really struggling to hire people because there's big startups like Canva or Atlassian, who does Jira, who are hiring like crazy because also their businesses have been positively impacted by COVID. So which is creating an incredible crunch in these countries. And if we are smart about how we advertise and how we present ourselves, then we can benefit from that. And we are actually benefiting from it because we've been absolutely, all the developers that we are hiring are going to projects right away.
I can only imagine you're probably inundated with business. I think that one of the things that I would say that the pandemic will be remembered as is that it really is kind of that watershed moment where we've really transitioned from the old
right.
world where we were talking about digital to the digital world, and it's so palpable now, and to see that. And I can see how you guys have participated in that and also played a key role in growing it. So Frederic, as you look forward, tell me more about what your plans are for Arcanys over the next year or so.
Yeah, so I think the first focus really is to increase the deal flow that we have with ventures. I mean, our recent successes, we're super happy about, and we are going to be able to really tell nice stories about that because it really is an extremely nice story for our clients, and we're very happy to have been part of that journey with them, which would probably also convince a lot more companies that, okay, this model can actually work, and they can really benefit from it. Because we really have now two out of 10 investments are exiting, and all of our investments are still alive, which is which is great. We don't know if they will all survive, but it's also very positive. So it can show other companies that are struggling maybe to, go as fast as they want to increase their development capabilities and their valuation and so on. So that's one thing we're going to focus. The second thing we have to keep on focusing on, I think, is the culture inside the company to retain our talent, because that's really, the core of our business is our clients trust us because we are able to keep really good talent with us. And so we have to keep on working really hard on that. And that's mostly the work of my business partner, Alan, who's doing an incredible job with the culture, the benefits we're offering to our employees and all that stuff. And I think the other part that we are thinking about is trying to find other countries where we can have developers from with the Arcanys processes and what has been making us, I think, successful for our clients, and which would give us access to other markets. For example, Europeans, they like nearshoring a lot more than, far shoring, if I can say that. So when we tell Europeans we're in the Philippines, the guys are like, where is that? And so if we told them we are in Eastern Europe, I think it would be a lot easier to sell. And that's why we're so successful with Australia and New Zealand, is because we're, in terms of time zones, we're super close. It's just one plane away. And of course the language and the culture is close. So it's working well. So that's what we want to achieve for Europe as well.
Well, I can see so much potential, and certainly as almost every business shifts at least a percentage of their work into some type of an outsourcing model. I don't know how any business can really grow without doing something like this. It's finding the right teams that can offer you that structure, the protocols that you need, and the quality. And it really sounds like what you have been able to build at Arcanys really offers that. And the Arcanys Ventures element sounds fascinating, because one of the challenges obviously getting going is everyone wants to move quickly, but they just don't have the resources to perhaps hire all the developers. And
that's
sounds
true.
like if you're able to offer a way to partner in that area, that's incredible. Frederic, it's been great to talk to you. If someone wanted to learn more about what Arcanys is working on, where should they find you?
Yeah, so they could find us on LinkedIn, so by searching for Arcanys, or simply on arcanys.com. So that's ARCANYS.com on our website. And they could also reach to me by email at fred@arcanys.com, and I'd be happy to have a chat.
That's excellent. Well, we've been speaking with Frederic Joye. He is the co-founder of Arcanys. Arcanys is a software development outsourcing company, really delivering solutions around the world, but really pulling resources currently from Asia. And it sounds like they're about to expand to other markets. They've launched a very, very successful Arcanys Ventures arm, which supports entrepreneurs as they develop new solutions and they need more developer resources. And so, Frederic, thank you so much for being on UNCAGED today.
Thank you, Vance.
I look forward to having you back on and hearing more about the success of the business.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.